My mixes used to sound like this.
Tell me some else, but still made it leak. I'm keeping my focus.
Now they sound like this.
Tell me some else, but still made it leak. I'm keeping my focus.
The crazy part, I didn't buy any fancy new gear, any new plugins. It was just 3 mistakes that I kept making that was ruining my mix. So this first mistake, it's a piece of advice that we've all heard in mixing. We see the pros do it, so a lot of us automatically assume that this is what we should do. And we might not realize what actually goes into using that advice. So this is a mistake that I made.
To keep it in hands, I'm about to retire. The competition that's around, it didn't really get me inspired.
I knew about serial compression. You already know what it is. Instead of just using one compressor for your vocals, you use multiple compressors to spread out the work between each of them. And it results in your vocals still being controlled, but still maintaining dynamics. It just sounds better than having one compressor do all the work. I thought it was instantly just gonna change my mixes, but for some reason it just made it worse. I didn't understand why, but the one mistake I was still making is that each compressor was still doing too much work.
I'm keeping my focus. And you wanna talk about motion? To keep it in hands, I'm about to retire.
So what fixed it was just giving myself a simple rule. I try to keep the gain reduction on each compressor between -1 dB and around -3 to -4 dB. In certain mixes, I might push one compressor more heavily than the other compressors, but I usually stay away from that. And I just use those guidelines to keep me from making any mistakes. But this wasn't the only thing killing my mixes. This next mistake was honestly the biggest time waster of them all, and I know we've all experienced this. When I first started mixing, I didn't have a pool of plugins that I trusted, that I knew that was going to work on every single mix. I would run through 10 different plugins just to figure out what sounded best on my mix bus. And I realized that it's not about plugin choice, it's about the user. Again, there's a common denominator here. Y'all not really seeing it, right? Y'all ain't really clocking it. Now, I really just have a pool of about 4 or 5 different plugins for each job, per se. For vocal compression, I use C4, RVox, and honestly, that's really it. Sometimes I use an LA2A plugin, but I just know that those plugins are going to sound good in 99% of situations. It keeps things very simple for me, stops me from overthinking. And here's the truth, the plugin itself doesn't really matter. It's a tool. You can hand someone that's never touched a mix in their life the best tools in the world, the best plugins in the world, the God Particle, the FabFilter set, and their mix still probably gonna sound trash. You can hand Mike Dean, you can hand Tizio, you can hand Wavy Wayne, stock plugins, and I bet you their mix is going to sound amazing. Just take some time to figure out what plugins work the best for you. So once I locked in my go-to plugins, my mixes just got cleaner. This next mistake, I think I might have wasted more time here than the other one. As engineers, we're nerds, we're technical, we like the finer details of things, and we can spend a lot of time tweaking those details. But here's the truth, a lot of people probably aren't going to notice those small, tiny tweaks that we make. The tiny 1 dB boost we did at 3K on the vocal. Who's gonna hear that? When we're listening to music, are we listening for those small nuances? No, it's not possible. Yes, I do know that the small tweaks that we make do add up eventually, but only when they're done with intention. If something sounds fine, there's no reason to sit there and tweak it forever. And what fixed it is allowing myself to step into the consumer's ears as I'm mixing. So once I'm pretty much done with whatever I'm doing, so let's say I'm done with building my vocal chain, I'll take a small break, I'll come back and switch on to the consumer mode. You're creating a project to eventually be consumed and enjoyed. And if the end product doesn't allow you to enjoy it, doesn't allow you to vibe with it, then that's when you know you need to make some tweaks. So the biggest principle that I learned here is that you need to mix with intention, not obsession. Want faster, cleaner mixes without guessing? Grab my free FL Studio beat mixing template. Sign up with the link below. And if you want more content like this, hit subscribe and hit the notification bell.